Oh my god, okay. So, it's me, Maddie Davis, and I'm back with a new series called Voguish Philosophy that I am so excited about. This channel is taking a new turn for sure, but totally in a direction that is exciting to share and collaborate with other people on. Voguish Philosophy as an idea, and why I was drawn to that title was because this series of videos coming out are about the boldness and the hotness of thoughts and connecting and reflection. It refers to the aesthetics of unashamed, unadulterated freedom and beauty in the world. Aesthetic of self-expression, of gratitude, of freedom. Like, I believe that there is a community that can be built in this realm. So yeah, we start today, the journey where being you is fucking lit. And today's video, I think, is pretty iconic to kick it off. It's something I'm really passionate about. What tree are you? I know there's like two groups of people clicking on this video. There's a group of people who are like ecstatic to talk about trees and to like, refer to trees. And then there's the other group of people who I know are watching right now. And they're like, what is what are you doing, Maddie? What are you doing? And I get that. Like, of course I do. I think this is a pretty bold first video. But let me explain why I'm choosing this. So if you accept the idea that endowing meaning or placing value in things or people or ideas creates your belief system and reflects directly in the world you experience, I think you would see that endowing meaning into nature, even in a silly way, making it personal in any way, has a deep ripple effect in changing the world. My perception of the world right now is that a lot of people aren't happy with the relationship to nature we have. Either they want more from it, or they're like, oh my god, we're taking too much, or they just recognize that things need to change and they don't know where to start. I think it starts with a personal connection to nature because that's how communities are built, that's how the definitions of business and economy and success are built upon. I'm reading this new book called Braiding Sweetgrass that I love so much. Robin Wall Kimmerer. I could talk about her all day. I'll do a review on that book soon. But in her book, she talks about neighboring tribes' ritual of the Thanksgiving address. And before every ceremony or ritual or gathering, they have an extensive thanking of nature, all the things in nature. And that chapter, talking about the ritual of the Thanksgiving address, just made me really see how important the personal connection to nature is if we want to unify a world that values it. And so in making this fun video, a personal connection to nature through identifying a tree that relates to you, I think we are brought closer to a greater faith in nature and a greater faith in the human reciprocity to nature we have. So I know that's like a lot lofty and spiritual, but that's how I like to be. I was excited to research on trees, look up the symbology, the particular attributes of trees. I see this video as a meditative process for me and for you to learn about trees, to learn about what they've meant over hundreds and thousands of years. And I hope that it's an investment in the future for protecting each and every one of these trees we're about to talk about. So here is what tree are you? I'm gonna get my notes and we're gonna dive in. So our first tree is the willow tree, and there's a lot of species in this tree group, but we're just going to talk about it in general as for the rest of the trees. The willow tree has a deep symbology rooted in flexibility, survival. It's connected to the moon and to the emotional life of an individual. This tree is used and featured in Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, poems, and mythology everywhere. I don't think that's out of coincidence. The fact that it can grow from a single broken branch from nothing else makes it a powerful symbol for adaptability and for survival. Without consciously realizing it, I made it a huge symbol for me during the pandemic. Not even conscious that I was making it a symbol, but in the center of my vision board, I just wanted a willow tree. I had no idea why, but it was because I wanted to connect to my emotional life and to adapt to the circumstances that were thrown my way. Also, willow trees grow next to bodies of water, lakes, so they're very tied to that creative force. I like that. I like that. The willow trees are very nice. The next tree is the oak tree. This one is loved by so many people. It's expansive. The oak tree represents a strong moral fiber, integrity and honesty, unbending scruples, and male relationships. So it's a symbol of strength, morale, resistance, knowledge. It's often linked to the powerful gods like Zeus. I also know it doesn't grow well next to non-native grass in California, so stop planting grass under your oak trees, thank you. Yeah, I think the oak tree is pretty cool. It also provides a safe space for a rope swing. I had that as a kid. That's all I have to say about oak trees, but if this one speaks to you, let it speak to you. The next tree is the Chinese redbud, and this tree is representative of brotherhood. The genus name Circes, I think that's how you say it, comes from the Greek word Kirkes, or Circes is probably the same, which means the weaver's shuttle, referring to the pod that weaves back and forth. So it's kind of the thread. These trees bloom a brilliant display of purple and pink clusters. Yes, it does. The leaves are green-shaped hearts as well. And to me, that like the green-shaped hearts, I think are really beautiful to look at. Green is often associated with financial success, with money, and the heart, I think, brings this tree to symbolize the wealth you have when you're doing what you love. I know I didn't find that or read that anywhere, but I think it's very much in alignment with how this tree is described. They're also difficult to relocate, so that's kind of interesting. They're a very small tree. Should be easy, but it's not. All right, the next tree is the ash tree. The ash tree can grow, The ash tree can grow to be around 80 to 120 feet high. It produces feathery white flowers, and their symbolism has always had mystical and religious significance. The burning of their wood, the ash tree wood, has been known to ward off bad spirits and has also been dedicated to the god of the sea, Poseidon. People also say that snakes are really afraid of ash trees, and if you put the leaves in your shoes or your clothing, then you're good. Also, there's a lot of medicinal benefits. Things I saw: fever, arthritis, gout, constipation, fluid retention, bladder problems. So it's got that true healing energy, protection from snakes as well. And it's also funny because snakes are used as a symbol of health in some parts of the world, like our medical hospital thing has the snake on it. But then snakes are so dangerous and evil too, so. The next tree is the birch tree, one of my personal favorites as a kid. It is known as a tree of elegance, grace, sophistication. It's got that silvery bark that I really like. It is the first to grow in places of tragedy, like after a natural disaster or a fire. It holds a strong connection to feminine energies as well. It's connected to the Lady of the Forest in the Celtic tradition. That goddess is Fleaish, who is a symbol of embracing domestic and wild nature. She honors balance, she protects flora and fauna, and I think that's as a symbol of balance why she does that. So with the birch tree, it is also a symbol of new beginnings, and gardens love it. They can flourish with birch trees really well. It's a very reciprocating tree. It is also associated with good luck and with May Day, maypoles. I think that feminine energy is very, very felt with the birch tree. The next tree is the poplar tree. It's often used in family crests more than any other tree, and that's in a singular poplar tree or as a cluster. It's a symbol of strength and unity. In Celtic tradition, it is often associated with victory, transformation, vision. Also, Hercules wears a crown made by poplar leaves. I keep saying popular. Made by poplar leaves, so it gives him vision. He wore this while retrieving Cerberus, so it's also associated with endurance and conquest on top of the vision. I got this one quote from an article about poplar trees, and it said, "Listen to the whispers of this tree and you will find your way." I really value that idea that this is playing with, that there is a great intuition from trees that we can listen to, and it connects us to that spiritual element of it all. I honestly think if you meditate in nature, you can really get some great ideas. Nature is like listening to you as much as you listen to it. So yeah. The next tree is the elm tree. There's a really great story in Greek mythology about this tree as well. Orpheus plays a song to rescue Eurydice, I think that's how you say her name, from the underworld as well. He enchants everyone with his harp, and out sprung an elm grove from the ground in reverence of this beauty and the love. Its mythology elsewhere is largely relating elms to the underworld itself, not rescuing, but also it relates to the transition to and from there. Also, its wood does well underground, so it's used for coffins a lot. Elms also drop huge branches without warning, so there's a phrase that I found that says, "Elm hateth man and waiteth," because it just drops without reason and has killed people, I assume. There are also medicinal uses from this tree, so even with the themes of death, I'm like, elms are tied to new beginnings. Elms are tied to the cyclical nature of life and death, darkness and light. We can begin again always. I love that. The next tree on our list is the chestnut tree. I love chestnuts. The chestnut tree symbolizes chastity, honesty, and justice, but it is also used as a darker symbol in George Orwell's 1984. He refers to this tree with a Glenn Miller nursery rhyme. "Under the spreading chestnut tree, I sold you and you sold me." I think this directly relates to how American chestnuts are fending and have for the last many decades. They struggle because of blight and are very endangered. And I think this nursery rhyme totally works. If this chestnut tree is a symbol of honesty and justice, it's like, it's honestly reflecting back to us the horrors of colonization and logging. These trees are like, look how ugly you are. Look what you're doing to nature. Yeah, I really like the nursery rhyme. "Under the spreading chestnut tree, I sold you and you sold me." Spreading, that's like overconsumption. "I sold you and you sold me." An economy where things are bought and sold and you'll sell everything. I need to read this book, but I don't know, I think the chestnut tree is interesting to look at. I'm an honest person and I value that in myself, so yeah. The next tree on our list is the pine tree, the Christmas tree. In Native American culture, I read it's a symbol of wisdom and longevity. In other cultures, it's fertility in life. Kind of similar themes of most of the trees we're talking about. The pine tree is the Christmas tree, you know, in the Christian culture. It has a soothing scent that makes people feel at home. I agree. They're also planted by a whole bunch of graveyards because they represent eternal life, so that's pretty great. I also read in other articles that these trees kind of have a negative connotation of sadness, but also there's another symbol it relates to of peace. In relating to the symbology of the tree, I think sadness and peace are very much in alignment to wisdom and eternal life. I think the cycle of life, the circle, I think it's eternal. There can be a great sadness and a great loss and grieving, but also peace, coming to peace with life and death is very much a part of relating to life. I'm so spiritual nowadays. I also think with wisdom, there are both elements of sadness and peace. Knowing things can be of great comfort, it can give people a great amount of peace, but I think knowing other things has a great amount of sadness. and grief as well. I went to San Diego this last weekend, and they have a Torrey Pine State Reserve because it's one of the only places the Torrey Pine grows. It's very rare, and I just felt like really connected to the tree itself, and they form such cool shapes. So yeah, definitely check it out. The next tree on our list is the final one on our list, and it's the palm tree. The palm tree is related to sun symbols, you know, because it's like they thrive in hot weather. And they're predominantly associated with masculine energy because of their shape, lol. But also with the fruit it bears, it has this like feminine thing too. So with that, with the masculine and feminine energies that are both very strong in the palm tree is an icon for fertility and unification. Fertility can refer to the birthing of ideas, the birthing of new life, whatever that means to you. And then unification is the uniting of masculine and feminine energies. It's that duality, that balance, something that a lot of spiritualists look at as divine. In alchemical traditions, the palm tree is a symbol of androgyny, and it possesses the perfect integration of both masculine and feminine attributes. The palm tree is also associated with the high priestess in the tarot deck. I'm not like the most knowledgeable in tarot, but I know a lot of people are, like my age. So that speaks to you, let it. And it's also associated with the sun god Ra in Egyptian mythology. My arm hurts from holding my laptop that long. Oh my god. So that sums up the What Tree Are You video. I really hope that you identified with something or meditated on the values or symbols these trees bring about. If you liked the video today, then I invite you to spend some time out in nature. Ding! And then comment below what tree you are. Thank you so much again, and have a great day. I'll see you.